A woman and her grandson were tethered to a cactus in the desert when two stray dogs discovered something terrifying. They're to pass away that morning. The Mojave Desert was as quiet as if holding its breath when two stray dogs abruptly stopped. One was tall and slender with a torn ear, while the other was smaller and sandy cold with alert eyes. They scented the breeze to warn that something wasn't right, and after hearing a slight whine, they came upon a terrible scene. A young boy and an elderly woman were tied tightly to the trunk of a giant cactus, with thorns piercing their skin. Their clothes were ripped, and their faces were pale and drenched in sweat. The woman whispered, barely audible, "Help." The dogs didn't bark. Instead, they moved in and sniffed the ropes, with the larger one, Rex, starting to gnaw at the thick knots while the smaller one, Daisy, pulled desperately, and after some time and effort, the ropes started to fray. Eventually, the boy broke free, and she collapsed forward with a cry, the thorns digging deeper. Her name was Evelyn, and she and Mason couldn't recall how they ended up tied like that. They had traveled to California to see Evelyn's son, a man she hadn't seen in years, and he had insisted on showing them a desert lookout point. The last thing Evelyn remembered was sipping a drink that he gave her, and then nothing, so Mason looked around, wondering what Grandma had done. Her heart pounded with fear, recalling his cold eyes and the bitterness in his voice when they had last argued over the family house, the one she still owned. "I don't know," she lied, but her silence said otherwise. Hours later, they heard the distant buzz of an engine, and their relief turned to terror as a black SUV drove toward them. Rex barked and started to walk as the sun rose higher, and the others followed, limping frantically in the hopes of being rescued. Evelyn froze. It was her son, and they were hiding behind rocks with him. When the men went away, the dogs protecting Mason with their bodies couldn't have gone very far when their voices rang out. In a whisper, Evelyn said, "Run now." Daisy defended the back as Rex led the way, but the SUV came around and cut them off, cornering them close to a dry ravine. Mason, Evelyn's son, hissed, "Why couldn't you just sign the papers?" Evelyn moved between the men, and he raised the gun before he could squeeze the shot. "You left us to die," Evelyn murmured, terrified but stubborn. Rex jumped on his arm, clamping it, and the gun went off into the air. Daisy tackled the second man's leg. Mason screamed. Evelyn grabbed a branch and swung with all her strength. There was chaos, dust, blood, barking, and screaming. A second shot went off, but it was missed by sirens. The attackers must have heard the first gunshot, and they fled in panic. After Rex pulled Evelyn's kid to the ground and pinned him until rangers came, Evelyn fell to her knees, and Mason gave her a deep hug at the station. When Evelyn revealed the truth, her son had been coercing her for years to sign away her land, and when she refused, he planned to have her killed. This is the tale of Rex and Daisy. Two strays who wouldn't turn away spread swiftly, and Evelyn and Mason adopted them, joining a new family formed out of courage, betrayal, and an unanticipated second chance. Regardless of their background or even species, people that defend you might occasionally be considered actual family.